Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss a little bit about how to study for the PMP exam. And a lot of people have different strategies. Good morning, Maria. How are you? A lot of people have different strategies on how to achieve a target in their life, whether it is a course or whether it is a dream or whether it is an achievement or endeavor in their life. So they definitely have a certain way of how to approach it, and that is dependent on each one of us because every person is unique in nature and every person has a different mindset. It doesn't mean that if somebody else have a different way of thinking, then he is wrong. If someone else thinks different than me, I respect that. It's part of diversity, and definitely that is a plus for each individual, which leads to creativity and innovation. And that's how we develop and we enhance our world and the future. So starting from that statement, I would say that every person has a different way of studying. All right, in that video or in that live, I'm gonna share with you my story, my experience on how did I set my plans and my study plans and my strategies to be able to pass the PMP exam. And I hope you guys can, if you agree with me, that might hint you a little bit, that might hint you on how to be able to study and pass the exam. So as we all know, and most of the people that are familiar with PMP, PMP is a project management professional certification, a globally recognized, industry recognized. Nowadays, every PMP holder has an edge over other candidates applying for the jobs and is in a better position to get a promotion compared to project managers without PMP certification. So starting from that, it is PMP is a journey that can help you grow your career and develop your skills and abilities. It's not just about passing the exam, right? And it doesn't mean that if you don't have a PMP certification that you are not a good project manager at all. So, but definitely if you are a good project manager and you hold a PMP certification, for sure you would be a better project manager. So to pass the exam, it's not simply cramming a lot of information and memorizing without understanding the rationale and the logic of the content of the exam. So first of all, you should be able to understand and deep dive into the information for you to be able to pass the exam. Surface studying will not lead you to pass the exam. Experience alone will not lead you to pass the exam, of course, and for sure. You need to have the experience as per the requirements of the PMP exam, and you need to study and study very hard and very well and go deep into the content of the processes and the knowledge areas of the PMP framework. So we have to, or the people that are studying for the exam, they have to prove that they are capable of running large projects. And when I say large projects, I don't mean small projects. I mean mega projects. So PMP tests you on the exam. The exam, you are examined to be able to apply the processes on a mega project, large projects, and you have to master these skills and processes or skill sets. And definitely, speaking of the learning opportunity, definitely in addition to that, there is a financial incentive for passing the exam. As I said, a salary survey conducted by the Project Management Institute, PMI, found that PMP certified project managers across all countries are paid on average 25% more than those without the certification. RMC has had students who received a bonus, a raise, or both when they passed the exam. So these are the advantages of the exam. Now we want to talk a little bit about qualifying for the exam. In order to qualify for the exam, I would advise you to go and visit the PMI.org website, read the requirements, but I am going to brief you a little bit. Normally these requirements are fixed, they don't change a lot, they are not very volatile, but still, when you are preparing, visit the PMI.org website, read the requirements just in case there are some changes. Okay, so you have two options. Either you have a university degree, a 4-year degree, and if you have a university degree, then you would need 3 years of experience leading projects. In addition to that, in addition to university degree, and in addition to your 3 years of project management experience, you would need also 35 hours of project management education in a affiliate PMI Institute center. Okay, so these are the criterias that need to be met if you are a holder of a university degree. The other option is if you are not holding a university degree. So in that case, you would need a high school diploma or an associate degree or its equivalent. Okay. For that option, you would need more than 3 years of project experience. You would need 5 years of project management experience leading projects, and you will still need 35 hours of project management education in a PMI authorized institute. Okay, so these are the conditions, the options and their conditions to be met for you to be able to sit for the exam. So now we want to talk a little bit about your readiness for the exam. In general, okay, by the way, I want to tell you that we are going to have that live stream recorded under the PMI-PMP material playlist in my channel. I will leave a link for that in my description box below. I'm not sure our friends, they might be, I would like to remind everyone that subscribe, please go and hit the bell icon so you will receive the notification. So whenever I come live or I'm streaming, you guys can come with me live, interact, and ask for questions, and that would definitely benefit a lot of us, and we will learn from each other when we are all together in that stream. Okay, so please don't forget to, when you subscribe to the channel, to hit the bell icon so you receive the live notifications. In case you did not receive it, or in case you missed hitting the bell icon, you can always play back the recording from the PMI playlist. And that is my second live stream. As promised, the full PMP course, I am going to prepare it and upload it under the same playlist, which is PMI-PMP. Okay, so let's go back to our discussion. How can you know that you are ready for the exam? Okay, are you ready, first of all? That's the question that needs to be asked. The answer to that question can vary. So a lot of people attempt the exam and they fail the exam. It doesn't mean that they are not competent or they are not capable, but it means that that is their first attempt in learning. So failure is the first attempt in learning. And the reason why they failed their first attempt could be that they have not had project management training that uses the PMI terminology and concepts. What does this mean? The PMP certification holder, the project manager with PMP and the PMP framework uses a lot of acronyms. So, for instance, WBS, that's an acronym. People might be wondering, what is WBS? WBS is work breakdown structure. So, if you have undergone a training and you are not very familiar, or you did not master the acronyms, you might find the exam challenging. So you would need to master your acronyms very well. Okay, PMO, for instance, is Project Management Office. WBS, work breakdown structure. CPI, Cost Performance Index. SV, schedule variance. So, as I'm saying, that might be the first reason why candidates or applicants fail their exam. Right. Another percentage of people fail the exam because they do not have a real world experience working on large projects. They might have work experience working on small to medium projects, but as I said before, you need to have experience, project management experience working on large projects. Okay, because large projects have a huge number of risks, a huge schedule, a huge scope to execute, a lot of changes on during the project, which you need to balance these changes with the scope, time, cost, and quality. So these are challenging factors that you need to be able to deal with on large projects. And if you don't have such experience, of course, it will be very difficult to manage to pass the exam. So on the exam, you have to answer questions from the perspective of the project manager. Even though you are not holding a position of a project manager in your organization, when you are attempting to sit for the exam, but definitely you need to be able to answer from the perspective and from the standpoint of a project manager, right? Unless the question tells you otherwise. Okay? Therefore, the more experience you have with large projects, the better prepared you will be for the exam. Okay. Hi, Krong. Thanks. All right, we don't have much concurrent viewers with us. Anyway, I am continuing. Right. Please share that stream with your colleagues if you know that they are studying for the PMP. That will definitely help them. I have promised to prepare and to come live and to help a lot of people, and that is free of charge. So please share that stream with your friends that you know. Ask them to subscribe, hit the bell icon, come and comment under the comment box below, and I will read their questions and answer them live while during the live stream. If not, then I will record the questions and come out with another live and ask them to join and address their questions. So please, if you want to help a friend that is studying or preparing for PMP, please share the stream with him. Okay. Right. I've said large projects. Someone might be asking me, what is the definition of a large project? Can you please explain a little bit what is large projects according to the PMI or the PMP definition? Well, here's an example. Let's say designing and constructing a new building. Is that a large project or not a large project? Let me see if somebody is answering. Well, to design and construct a new building, that's definitely a large project. So if I want to compare that to repainting an existing building, is repainting an existing building a large project? Definitely no. So if I am assigned to work on renovating or repainting an existing building, that is not a large project. Therefore, my experience and my processes that I apply on that set of projects, even though I might be thinking that I'm applying some project management work, it will not be categorized as such, and in the exam I will have lower chances of passing the exam. Right. Let's take another example. Installing an integrated software across a global company, international company, located at different countries, versus installing software patch updates, for instance. Okay, a lot of people might not be from an IT background with us. So what I mean by patch updates is like a small firmware upgrade on an existing holistic system. So comparing these two, definitely installing an integrated software across a global company is categorized as a large project. And if I am a project appointed to if I'm a project manager appointed to such a large project and I still have no PMP, that work experience can be categorized and will enable me to have higher chances passing the exam. So these are a couple of questions where we define or we answer what does it mean a large project. Another question is going deeper into the project management. And that means assessing how much we are familiar or how much do we know certain knowledge areas and we are confident with them. For example, cost or schedule. What is a cost management plan? What is a schedule management plan? What does cost overrun means in numbers? Here I'm saying in numbers, in depth. What does schedule overruns mean in numbers also, right? What does an unrealistic schedule mean? Have I been working on a project with a lot of number of changes? Have I been in situations where my stakeholders, when I say stakeholders, I mean my client, my customer, my sponsor. So these are my stakeholders, key stakeholders. Have I been in a situation where they have been asking me as a project manager to change a lot in the scope? Or was I able to say to them no, to stand my ground and say no? And if I said no, did I say no the right way, the right approach? All of these questions are valid questions, and competent project managers, they know how to forge their path through these challenges and are always equipped with soft skills that will help them do that. That'll come by definitely by work experience, but it's also not only by practice. Some people are gifted, it's innate, it comes with them. Of course, they would need to work on it, improve it, and they will come better. But it also, even if you don't have it or you don't have it innate, along with your work and with your practice as a project manager, you will master it and you will become excellent in that field. So this is one of the challenges. Learn to say no and how to say no to your stakeholders, and provide them with explanation to why you say no, right? Why you say no is simply not because you don't want to do the work, because as a project manager, you are accountable for the time frame to finish the project, for the cost to be able to finish. So your project, you have as a project manager, you are accountable to finish your project on time, within budget, and up to the quality that that has been set, up to the quality metrics, and you have to complete the original scope, which is baseline. That scope has been baselined, right? After it has been baselined, any changes to the scope will definitely affect your time frame, your schedule. It will definitely start shifting to the right, and your cost will go up, and your quality, if you want to jeopardize the time and the cost, your quality will drop down. So, and that means when it comes to signing off your project, you will not get a sign off, and your project is deemed to fail. And you, as a project manager, accountable for that project you failed. Right. So these are the topics that you need to be well fond of in order for you to be able to pass the PMP exam. Okay. Have you been in a position when, as a project manager, you ran out of time at the end of the project, and that project, when we are talking about large mega projects, that is it could be $1 billion project, or let's say millions of dollars projects, So you as a project manager, you have such burden on your shoulders, you are not able to sleep, you start sweating, your face will turn yellow, you will turn red. In steering committee meetings, you will not be able to, you are under stress, and that will impact your personal life. So these are the situations that you as a candidate that you want to sit for the PMP exam, you need to have not passed through, but you need to be aware of, and aware of of their consequences, right? And when you are reading situational questions on the exam, you have to think, to place yourself in that position, and think from your background experience and from your knowledge and from what you studied on how best to deal with that situation and what is the best answer. So in some of the questions you might have, normally it's 4 multiple choice questions, and on most of the questions you have 3 correct answers, but you'll have to choose the best correct answer according to that situation, based on the rationale of the PMP framework, which is based on PMBOK 6 and now RITA 10th edition. Okay, so that is one of the tricks or the hints that might help you find your way through in the exam. Have you been facing on a project communication problems and increased conflict? So have you been in a position in a difficult meeting with senior managers and key stakeholders and sponsors and decision makers? Have you been in a heated meeting with every stakeholder having a difference of opinion and they cannot agree together? Do you know that you as a project manager, you are accountable to resolve conflicts on such meetings and conflicts that arise during the project? Do you know as a project manager you are responsible to shield your teams from such interference? So your team should be focused on dealing with their deliverables and focusing on their own work, and you as a project manager, you need to shield them and try to with your soft skills to resolve conflicts in meetings and on the project, in order to keep the momentum of your team and even accelerate or give them that boost to be able to work harder. Right. Have you been on I have been on projects dealing with such. Have you been on a project with an unsatisfactory quality and you turn out, or you take your stakeholder on a walk down to show him the work, and you see the reaction on his face? Have you been in such situations? Well, definitely on most of the projects you will face these. It's not bad, it's not bad to face them. You will face them, but it is more important to know how to deal with them and how to manage them. You shouldn't be letting these problems managing you. You should be managing the problems, right? And you should be managing, and you should be in control of such problems, whether they are related to time or cost or quality or scope or risks or contracts or whatever, whichever knowledge area. Okay, if you don't deal, or if you as a project manager let these problems control you, you will not be the only one stressed on the project. Your team will be impacted, and you will have a low morale as a result of that, and your stakeholders will be upset and stressed and they will feel they will lose their confidence in you as a project manager, and that is a failure after failure. Okay, you don't want to be in that situation. Okay. Hello, Rosalina. How are you? Good. Thanks. Please, again, guys that are watching now, share that stream with any of the friends that you know they are preparing for the project management professional exam, the PMP exam. That will help. That will definitely help them. So, and ask them to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Okay. And if you have any questions related to what I am saying, please raise your questions under the comments and I will address them during the live. Okay. Going back to our discussion also, when we say large projects, the rate of excessive rework and overtime will be higher, and the experience to deal with it will definitely need to be more than dealing on small projects and medium projects. On large projects, definitely we will have too many project meetings, and it's very important for the project manager to be able to plan meetings properly, because too many project meetings is also not good, right? So proper planning is required under on large projects. Right. We might be asking the question, right? So what are the topics or what tools and techniques should I apply when working on such projects? Well, there are few, there are a lot of them actually, but I am going to pick the most important ones at a very high level, because at that stage we're not gonna talk too much technical and project management language, because I believe there are some people of different experiences. Some they are novice, some medium, some advanced. So we will keep it at a very high level, right? So project management, the project management course is mainly based on processes, and it's required from people that are studying to understand each and every step in the process. That's definitely required. So we have input, tools and techniques, and outputs, right? You will see a lot in the PIM book, some diagrams with inputs, tools and techniques, outputs, right? They should not be memorized. For people that are asking, should we memorize them? I would say you should not memorize, you should understand. If you memorize and you go to the exam, definitely you will fail the exam. You should understand the nitty-gritty of every process, the logic, how it works, to play around with it, the inputs, tool and techniques, the output. Think of it from outputs, tool and technique. So you have to shuffle all the processes, all the tools and techniques, and it's like a puzzle, which you have first time, that puzzle you've been sitting and trying to build it, right? First time it takes you more how to build it. Second time it's faster, because you are building the second puzzle the second time, so you know how to shuffle, you know every part, where does it fit. The third time you will do it much quicker and you will master it. And studies have proven that people that go and study a topic 3 times, they go through it 3 times, like reading a book. Read it 3 times, study it 3 times, you will master it. the third time you will master, and so the first time you go through it, you will learn. Second time you will learn more. Third time you will be at a very high level, understanding in your studies, understanding that topic. That's very important tip that you guys can use it. So if you are using to study anything, not only PMP, any of the courses, study your course 3 times, and that researchers showed that shown that studying 3 times will enable you to master a certain course. Okay, and you can always go back and plug your gaps, fill in the gaps, whichever area you feel that you are weak, you can go and reinforce it. Right. So we were talking about what are the high-level knowledge areas in the project management. So the roles of the project manager, whom do we have in the project? We have a project manager. What does the project manager do? Mainly, project manager is responsible for running the project. Not only that, but at a very high level. So he's the accountable person for the success of the project. Sponsor is another member in the project, and he is the guy that provides the ultimate sign off, and he's the guy sponsoring or funding the project from the business side. Product owners is similar to a sponsor, but from the agile perspective, and the teams and the stakeholders. Okay, now another topic is, for example, using historical information from previous projects, including lessons learned. Okay, so I am a project manager. I am assigned to a project, and I want to start the work. So one of the things that I should do is use the historical information from previous projects, try to search some other projects if I can find some documents to be able to apply and avoid facing issues on the project. Okay, what a formal project charter is and knowing what it requires. Okay, what is a project charter? Okay, project managers or project teams, they should know what a project charter is, right? What is a work breakdown structure? What a prioritized risk register is and how to use it? How to manually create a network diagram? What is a network diagram? What is the critical path? How to find it? And what benefits it provides to the project and to the project manager? What is rough order of magnitude estimation, 3-point estimations, story points? What is earned value analysis? Schedule compression techniques? What is crashing? What is fast tracking? What is float? How to manage the float? How to create a realistic schedule? These are all topics, hot topics on the exam, and need to be mastered. Through studies and through experience. Right. Other ideas can be how to deal with our stakeholders. How can we identify stakeholders as difficult stakeholders? How can we deal with them? What strategies should we use with difficult stakeholders? So there is a whole domain or chapter on stakeholder management in project management in that course. Okay. Also, there is a large chapter on risk management, qualitative, quantitative, risk response planning, all of the risk management techniques are also, there is a huge chapter, and that's very important for the exam. Other things could be calculating reserves and understanding their relationships to risk management. When we talk about risk, we speak about risk reserve, contingency reserves, management reserves. Okay, they are all very important also to justify why you need to spend that budget. You need to show to your sponsor where did you spend that extra money, which was supposed to be for contingency, for management reserves, and sometimes you would need to provide justification. And according to the reserves and the risk management planning that you have done. So every risk, if it happens, it will cost the company money, right? If the risk materializes into an issue and you have no risk response planning, or you don't have mitigation techniques, then this risk will cost the company money. And so therefore, if in your planning you have planned that if this risk is an unknown risk and it happened, there is always a risk response planning, and that ties in with the management, with the contingency and with the management reserves. Okay, sorry if I'm going so much technical. I shouldn't be going very much technical in that, but we'll keep it at a very high level. We're gonna address all these topics in detail, starting step by step together in additional videos under the PMI-PMP playlist. Okay, and if you guys are you prefer, please let me know if you prefer that I record the videos. I would be ready to record them. If you prefer that we come live and we address, I normally would like to come live, and because a lot of people will be with us and they will be asking questions, and I can answer these questions live. Okay, so for now we don't have much people with us. I'm hoping we will have more people with us soon. Bye. Okay. Yes, okay, so we spoke about the reserves. We're gonna continue our discussions and about the hot topics of PMP. And a huge knowledge area in the course focuses on monitoring and controlling the project according to the project management plan. Okay, so in the planning, in the final stages of planning, you come out with a final approved project management plan, and you start executing according to that plan. Okay, there will be changes, there will be steering committee meetings, there will be assessment again for the scope, time, cost, and quality metrics, but you are monitoring and controlling as a project manager the execution of the project according to the project management plan. Planning and developing iterative and incrementally for change-driven projects. So, as I've spoken in my previous stream, we have plan-driven and we have change-driven. Okay, plan-driven are traditional planning. It's used on projects with a low level of uncertainty compared to agile. You still have risks, you will have uncertainty, but compared to the agile change-driven planning, it's more like planned, known, defined, waterfall. So plan-driven versus change-driven. Considering the professional and social responsibilities expected of a project manager when a project, when managing a project. The project manager should put the project interest before his interest or before anyone's interest. That is a statement that need to be well applied, and every project manager is socially responsible to put the project interest before his own interest, any of the team's interest. That should be crystal clear for any project manager, right? Now, we've spoke a little bit about the content. We've spoke about so many topics, right? I am giving that stream long time to be able to I'm giving it its time to be able to discuss, interact. I wish there were some people with us to brainstorm, read their comments and interact. I'm hoping that in the near future we will have more people with us on the live stream. And from my side, I'm still not mentioning when I'll be coming live. So maybe I will advertise before time when that live, at what time, what is the best time to conduct it, where everybody will be available. Okay, but as I said, it's recorded on the PMI-PMP playlist material, and so you can go there and watch it again. Applying to take the exam. You, first of all, must submit an application to PMI to take the exam. Application might be submitted online after submitting your application. Okay. So after submitting your application, I'm remembering a mistake. So first of all, you will need to visit the PMI website, PMI.org. And then when you are ready with your studies, and when you are ready with your work experience, and when you prepared all the documentation for the audit, so your work experience, your university degree, whichever I mentioned before, need to be prepared and ready with you in hand, so you can DHL it just in case the audit process took place. Okay, then after that, when you are ready with your studies, when you have everything with you in hand, you can visit the PMI.org website and apply online. Fill in your application. Once you fill in your application, then after you submit your application, you will receive a notice that will confirm your application has been accepted or undergone audit, right? Let's say your application has been accepted. You will then be prompted to pay for your exam appointment. Once payment is received, you will receive an email authorizing you to make an appointment to take the exam. Once you receive your authorization, you must pass the exam within 1 year. You can take the exam up to 3 times within that year. If you fail all the 3 attempts, you must wait 1 year to reapply for the exam. You may be subject to an audit of your application before it is approved, as we discussed. So make sure you have spoken to your university, you have spoken to your previous line managers regarding your experience, and make sure they are ready to sign it and DHL the forms to PMI. Okay. The exam is usually offered on a computer at a design testing site. When I did my PMP, I sat for it in a center. Now, if you visit the PMI.org website, you'll find out the PMP and mainly all the certification. I don't want to say all of them, but the certifications that I have passed, like PMP, Agile Certified ACP, Agile Certified Professional, and and PBA, business analysis, they are all, you can all do them from home, provided you have a stable internet connection, right? And definitely an acceptable specifications for your desktop computer or your laptop. Okay. So this is how to apply for the exam. Now, how to study for the exam? Well, it depends. Again, a lot of people they prefer watching a video, like the way I am discussing now with you. They prefer to listen to the material. They prefer to buy some video courses or attend some extra curricular courses beyond the 35 hours project management educational classes. But most of the people would prefer to listen. Okay, but listening is not sufficient. You would need to, I would advise you would need to download. If you are a PMI member, you will get the chance to download the PMBOK 6 free of charge from PMI.org, the website of PMI. And there is an excellent resource which is Readable from rmcls.com. You can visit rmcls.com and get the 10th edition, read the 10th edition. It's an excellent resource, very simple, excellent way of studying. That's really good. So in addition to that, you can augment your studies by some practice guides. If you are a PMI member, and I encourage everyone to be a PMI member, please go and you will find a lot of PMP guides, not only the PMBOK, PMP practice guides, where they will help you a lot. That's very important. And when you are ready, and when you study the Rita book, as I said, 3 times, you should study that's the rule that worked for me, 3 times, and that is also recommended by Rita. Okay, so study 3 times your material. PMBOK, study it 3 times, read it 3 times, read Rita book 3 times, practice guides, read them 3 times, and when you are ready, there is something called PM fast track simulation, as far as I remember. PM fast track, yes, from rmcls.com. It's a software, it's like a mock exam. Don't overuse it, don't do the exam more than twice. Measure, do it first when you are ready and 100% fond of your information and your studies. Do it once. It's a simulation mock exam, as if you are doing the real exam, right? And it's at the same difficulty level, I would say, right? Isolate yourself in an area, in a room alone, as if you are in a test center. That exam is timed, and PM Fast Track and the software will mark you after you finish. It's as if you are doing the same exam in a test center, and sit for that exam first time. And I would advise you to score 85% and above. Okay, if you score 85% and above on PM Fast Track first time, no need for you to do even the second time. Go and do the exam and you will pass. If you got below 85, study again, let some time elapse, and then sit for the exam again. Sit for the exam again, and make sure you get 85%. Then when you get 85 and above, I guarantee you, once you sit for the exam, if something not beyond the expectations happened, there is a high chance that you will pass the real exam. Okay, so this is how to some tips and tricks how to use and how to sit for the exam, right? I mentioned before that the exam is I mentioned before that the exam is a 1-year exam. Okay, it's a 1-year exam, fair enough. And for that 1 year, you have 3 attempts, as I said. So there is a trick here, and I learned that trick. So divide your 12-month, your 1 year validity into 3 parts. So every 4 months, attempt an exam. And even you will raise your chances. So for you to pass from the first time, study and study hard and be 100% sure that you will pass for the first time. You'll pass from the first time. So apply when you are ready. Like, for example, January 2022, I am planning, okay, I'm PMP certified and ACP and PBA, but let's say I want to attempt the PMP on January 22. So I study very, very hard, and I don't apply, because if I submit my application and I get accepted, then the countdown of 365 days, which is a 1 year, will start, the countdown will start, and then I will be losing time. So if I know that 1st January, I want to, January 1st, 2022, sorry, I want to sit for the exam, I should start studying, and I should be well prepared. And I would say 15 December 2021, I will submit my application. Why? Because it will take 15 days, normally, more or less, to get it approved, without any audit here. I'm saying without audit. So if I get my application approved, then what I will do is I am attempting first time when the counter is on 360 days or 365 days, right? And if I failed on my first attempt, then I still have 2 attempts, which I can split them, rather than every 4 months sit for and study and sit for the exam. I can split them into, I can get more time to study, which is 6 months, then study, and then another 6 months until I finish my 365 days of the year. Okay, so that's the idea behind it. Split your year either into 3 attempts, every 4-month attempt, or prepare very well. And I'm sure when you are prepared very well, you don't need the other attempts, but just in case, prepare very well, submit your application when you are ready to go and sit for the exam. And if you fail, you have 2 attempts, after each one is after 6 months. That's a very important trick and very good trick. Another trick is, which I've spoken of, the exam is very tough, and don't get stuck. So go your first round over the 200 questions, quickly answer what you know, mark for review whichever you don't know, and then go back and repeat. Okay, so yeah, now, right, okay, there is one point which I did not, which I forgot to mention. When you in read the book, there are some practice exams at the end of each chapter. Okay, I'm saying what worked for me. So normally I do not do these questions after studying for the exam. I don't do that. I leave all these questions, I gather them, I finish studying 3 times the book, the concepts, I master the concepts, I master the processes, and then I will accumulate these questions, and I will do them at the end, before I apply for the mock before I sit for the PM Fast Track Simulation exam, which is the mock exam. Okay. So, right. And when I am answering the questions, I prepare like a score sheet, and that is also recommended by Rita book. Okay, so you prepare a score sheet. You have on the left, you have 4 or 5 columns. You have the questions, the numbers, how many, 200, 250, 300 total after you do all the chapters. You have first time, if you got it right or wrong, and then you have you write down on the score sheet, why did I get it right or why did I get it wrong? And you have the second time, why did I get it right or why did I get it wrong? So I gather these questions, 200, 250, the total at the end of every chapter. When I finish studying, as I said, I gather them and I prepare that score sheet and I answer the questions. And I write down the reason why I answered correctly or why I answered wrong. And I understand why I answered correctly and why I understand why I answered wrong. Okay? For the first time. And then after I finish, I mark myself how many right, how many wrong. Okay? And I score myself. And then if I find out that I've scored less than 85 correct out of, so if I scored 85, less than 85%, I will study again the whole concept, and again the second time the same questions, I will answer them. Maybe after 3 weeks, after 4 weeks, I will answer them and mark myself. All this work is before the simulation, before I sit for the PMI simulation exam, the mock exam, which is PM Fast Track. Okay, so you guys can visit. I'm not sure. It's now cloud-based. You can buy the subscription online, and it's valid for 1 year. That PMI software, and it's a repository of around more than 2,000, 2,500 real exam questions. That you won't see the same on the exam, but they cover all the concepts and they are very, very good questions. I normally don't do them all. My strategy is sit once or twice. They will be shuffled based on the software, based on the PM Fast Track, and I will have the chance to sit maximum twice before I go sit for the real exam. Okay? Right. This is another trick also that can be used to sit for the exam. So we have spoken about the Rita PM Fast Track and the cloud exam simulator. What you have also is something called Hot Topics Flashcards. It's also from RMCLS, from Rita. You can visit the website. If you are traveling a lot, if you have a tight, you can always use them if you are in a car traveling, or you are in a plane, or you have a tight or busy schedule. You can use these flashcards. You can buy them, and they are over 300. And they are of the most difficult to recall PMP exam related terms and concepts, and they are really good. They are really good. I've never bought them, to be honest with you. I did not use them. What I use is the PM Fast Track Cloud Exam Simulator. I've used the Rita book. I've used the PIM book 5 when I studied. and I've used some practice guides from PMI.org. I am a PMI member, so I managed to download them. You get them for free if you are a PMI member. Okay, and also there is something called PMP Exam Preparation e-learning course. This is a self-directed e-learning course for PMP, and it provides, you can use it on a mobile, you can use it on an iPad. It provides hundreds of audio clips, a lot of exercises, hot topic flashcards, scored practice exams with PM Fast Track. So you can use that, and it also contains all the 35 contact hours necessary to apply to sit for the PMP exam. It also includes a comprehensive documentary library along with a digital copy of the prep book. Okay, please visit the rmcls.com, the official website for RITA, and you will find all that information there. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the PMP exam like? Right? I've answered that question, but again, since we are talking about the exam, so this is like a warm-up session, guys, hoping to encourage you, hoping that you will get motivated to study, because I really want to promote and help you get PMP certified. I want to because that I understand that this have greater returns and will help everybody on the personal level, at work, and eventually will help the whole world. Okay, so first of all, what you need to know is that the exam is not a test of information. Okay, you should not cram, you should not memorize, you should understand and well understand in depth the information. And what you can do is you can, of course, rely on a real world experience. The exam is 200 multiple choice questions with 4 answer choices per question. The exam must be completed in 4 hours. Okay, it's a tough exam, 200 questions, 4 hours, and they are tough situational questions. Now, 25 questions out of the 200 questions are experimental questions, meaning they are not included in your score for the exam. These questions will be randomly placed throughout the exam. You will not know which ones are which, so you will have to do your best to answer all the questions on the exam, all the 200 questions, to increase your chance to pass the exam. But your score will be calculated based only on 175 questions out of 200. You will never know. They are randomly picked, and it's PMI measurements to measure. It's PMI what's it called? I forgot the technical word. Okay, right. According to some exam history, for you to pass, you should score above 70%, I think. So if you get 130 questions correct, to 140 questions out of 175, then you will pass the exam. Right. The exam, the questions are randomly generated from a database, as we said. The questions may jump from topic to topic, and a single question may integrate multiple concepts. So there will be, and that is also a tip for you to study. When you study, study first of all to follow the ideas, and then pick chapters and make sure you are familiar with questions from different chapters. So shuffle your exam questions when you are doing the simulation. The simulator, the PM Fast Track, will do that for you. But when you are preparing for the practice exams at the end of every chapter, don't put them. Try to shuffle the exam questions. Make it harder for you. Practice everything, so when you go there, you are very comfortable during the exam. Or now, as I said, you can do it from home. That's an advantage. That's a motivation why you guys should study. You don't need to go to the center. You are monitored via a camera for the 4 hours. You make sure your desk is clean, no material, and you can sit for the exam and pass from home, which is excellent. Right. Now, some might be asking which chapter is more difficult than the other, which is the most difficult. So that is according to Rita. Right. First of all, we have we have 11 chapters. We have 11 chapters in PMP now with the 10th edition, right? So which is more difficult? Which chapter is more difficult? So according to Rita book, the most difficult, let me see, just to make sure. Right. So that information is not also according to Rita, to be specific and accurate. So I think it's based on a research conducted for many people and based on their feedback regarding the most difficult areas. How are they rated? So the most difficult is procurement management, and then the second most difficult is risk, and after risk comes quality. That's in terms of the difficulty level. And after quality, we have integration. After integration, we have schedule. After schedule, we have cost, and then framework, and then scope, and then resource, and then stakeholder, and then communication. So that's an overview about the difficulty level. Do not expect the exam to have all straightforward questions and definition type questions. It's not like that. It's complex. The level of complexity is very high. Situational questions, and you will not find any definition type questions on the exam. The exam deals with practice experience. The majority of the questions are situational. So for those who do not have project management experience, these questions are extremely difficult, or can be extremely difficult. There are formulas and calculations on the exam, and when we reach to earned value analysis, we will get to these formulas, and we have some some formulas in risk. We will go through the formulas step by step, but there will be 5 to 10 questions related to formula related questions on the exam. 10 to 5 formula related, not only 10 to 5, around 25 questions. But not all of them, they require complicated calculations, but just roughly 25. So these formulas need to be well understood. Okay, and as I said, you need to be familiar with the acronyms like WBS. What does it mean? Work breakdown structure. What does it stand for? CPI, SPI, cost variance, schedule variance. CPI is cost performance index. SPI is schedule performance index. When I did the exam, when I attempted the PMP, when I passed the PMP exam, I thought I will fail. I came out of the exam. I don't know which answers, or I wasn't sure. I was uncertain of all the answers that I've answered on the exam, right? So when most of the people, when they do the exam and they finish, they don't know if they will pass or not, right? But to that extent, the exam is stressful, right? As I said, situational questions, these questions demonstrate why having project management experience is critical to passing the exam. You need to integrate real-world experience with your study knowledge for the exam concepts, right? So you might have questions that are also with 2 or more right answers. Okay, this is very challenging to choose, and you will have questions with extraneous information, too many information, too much grammar, but the question would be maybe in between the lines or at the end of the statement of the question. You'll have questions using made-up terms. That's why learning the acronyms is very important. You will have, for instance, let's say progressive elaboration or qualitative elaboration. So a made-up term, any made-up term, right? Right. You will have questions where understanding is very important. So it's a topic or a question that you have never thought of it this way, but it's as a result of deducing this from your understanding of the process. We have mainly covered what like excessive wordy questions. We have covered situation questions. So this is like the type of environment you will be in while doing the exam. So, if you have any question, please raise it in the comment box below. Right. Okay. Now, what we are going to talk about is some general PMI topics, which are called PMI ISMS. They are very important, and we would need to familiarize ourselves with them before sitting for the exam. Okay, hot important topics at a very high level. We're gonna discuss them together now. I have them noted down to make sure that we cover all of them. Okay. So, first of all, project managers are the center of the project universe. Without a skilled project manager, a project is destined to fail. With a person educated in the skills of project management, regardless of title, a project will succeed. Okay, so it is a must for the project success to have a project manager assigned to it. Okay, as I said before, the project manager puts his own interest. The project manager puts the project interest before his own interest or anybody in the team or the stakeholders' interest. The project managers have all the power to make decision calls on the project. They have the right to say no, and they have the right to explain why no, and they have the right to negotiate when they say yes, to negotiate changes and ask for more budget or for more time for their projects. They have the right to do so. The project manager understands the value of the tools and techniques of the project management and knows how to adapt them to a large project. The project manager is assigned during a project initiation, not later in the life of the project. Why? But you will still find some projects assigned later during the life cycle of the project, but we are saying the normal best practice is to assign a project manager during the project initiation. Okay, once you have a project charter, then you will have a project manager assigned to that project. Of course, the project manager needs to understand all the processes of the project management: what to do, when to do, how to do, what time should that process be executed. So that's all the project manager's responsibility. The project manager should always know why their project was selected by the management and make sure that those objectives and business case are met while planning and managing the project. Okay, so the project manager should know the business value that his project will add to the organization. And how will it help the organization's strategic goals and objectives. The project manager should not micromanage the team. A good project manager believes that the team members are motivated, empowered, and engaged, and they are always prepared to come out with innovative ideas and discussions. So micromanagement here will hinder the momentum of a high-performing team and will demean them. Okay. Project manager time should be focused mainly on not micromanaging, but spending time on planning, on managing, assessing, inspiring, motivating, monitoring, controlling the scope, schedule, the quality, the risks, the resources, and the stakeholder satisfaction or stewardship. Okay, that is the main that's the main area where the project manager should be spending his or her time. So the project manager should be working within the existing company culture and systems. So that is what is called enterprise environmental factors or organization process assets, right? And you will see that a lot in the inputs of in the inputs before the tools and techniques later on during our discussion. Every project has a project charter which authorizes the project and the role of the project manager. So that is a formal document, the project charter appointing a project manager to the project. A lot of people confuse, they think the project management plan is a bar chart or a small schedule and Primavera, or it's a small what's the name? Okay, but just the idea. Most of the people think that project management is just a schedule, a bar chart. On the contrary, project management plan is a comprehensive, holistic plan containing a scope management plan, containing cost management plan, containing schedule management plans, containing quality management, resource management and staffing, risk management, procurement management, stakeholder communication management. So it's a holistic plan containing all these sub-plans. So it's not just a bar chart, right? That bar chart is called a project schedule. It's a project document, right? So we need to be careful not to confuse project plan with a project schedule, project management plan with a project schedule. So the project manager creates and keeps the project management plan and project documents up to date, always updated, to help plan, manage, and monitor and control the project. Stakeholders are involved throughout the project. Their needs are taken into account while planning the project and creating the management plan and the stakeholders engagement plan. Right. Gold plating. Gold plating is adding extra functionalities to the scope, which is, as the name indicates, when you say gold plating, I want to shine that piece of work with extra functionality to to amaze my stakeholders, and that's a big mistake that should never be tried on a project. So the project manager should be avoiding and blocking all gold plating. We have a defined scope, we deliver as per the scope. Nothing more, nothing less. It should be like that, right? Or else the project manager will be struggling with the time frames, completing the project on time and within cost, right? So it's very important to avoid gold plating, deliver as per the defined scope, nothing more, nothing less. We don't want to amaze your stakeholders by delivering what they need on time, on budget, up to the quality metrics defined and agreed upon. Most project managers manage projects in a matrix environment in which tools and techniques are typically straightforward. Okay, so we have projectized environment, we have matrix environment. Projectized environment, the authority is with the project manager. He is the ultimate decision maker. In a functional organization or in a matrix environment, you have a balance between functional managers and the project manager. So there is a balance between the authority. And in a matrix environment, it's important to know that concepts and tools such as motivation, theories, and conflict resolution may become more complicated in alternate environments. So you might face, because there are different stakeholders, in matrix organization you have communication upward, downward, you are managing upward, downward, and peer-to-peer. So it's a complicated matrix organization with a lot of communications in all directions, right? So that's why the potential of having more conflicts is always there. Right. Planning the project. Planning is important, right? Planning is very important, and all projects must be planned. All the projects must be planned. Okay. Plan the work and work the plan. Okay. If you are working without a plan, you are working without any. You are working blindfoldedly. It's not the right way. Okay. So planning is very important. The project manager plans the project with input from the team and the stakeholder, not on their own. Okay, so it's a team effort. It's always through collaboration. There is no one-man show here. The team's input is always valued and appreciated. Therefore, it's very important to get the team's input when the project manager is planning for the project. Part of the planning involves deciding which processes should be used on each project and how to tailor those processes to the project. Right? Again, every project, as I said in the previous live stream, that every project is executed so every project can be categorized as predictive or agile, predictive or plan driven, or agile or change driven. So just for the people that so when we say predictive or waterfall or plan driven, right, that is PMP, and that's project management professional course. And when we say agile or change driven or adaptive, or we are saying agile, that's ACP. There are plans for how the knowledge areas of scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communications, risk, procurement, and stakeholder management will be planned, managed, and monitored and controlled. Okay, so all of this is in the planning phase of the project. Okay, in the planning phase of the project, we also have the project manager holds the responsibility to define the metrics to be used to measure quality. That's also applied. That's also done in the project management plan. In the project management planning, the project manager plans to improve the project processes. The processes are not processes. Agile will teach you that people are more important than processes, right? And processes are not fixed. They can be changed. They can be changed. And the project manager is accountable to improve these processes and submit innovative ideas and justifiable ideas, proven ideas to change the process for the better, right? For the better of the project and for the better of the organization. Okay. The project manager in the planning also should be creating a system to reward the team members and the stakeholders. So recognizing, commending, setting a system to reward team members and stakeholders is very important. When we say stakeholders, we are not just saying my customers, whether internal customers or external customers or clients or sponsors. Stakeholders means also my team. My team is a stakeholder. My seller is a stakeholder. My vendor is a stakeholder. My subcontractor is a stakeholder. So stakeholder is a broad terminology and is the umbrella for all what I mentioned, right? All roles and responsibilities are clearly documented and assigned to specific individuals on the project. Okay, this is in the planning. So the project manager should identify and specify the roles and responsibilities to each individual on the project. This may include reporting, may include risk management, meetings, attendance, all sorts of project-related work. Right? The project manager and the team they focus mainly on risks, and on every meeting the risks are the main center of the discussion. Why? Because risks, if they happen, they will impact the project timeline, the project budget, and the success of the project, right? So risk is the discussion, is the risk in planning. Planning the risk management is very important. The project manager realizes that managing risks saves the project time and money, right? And that's what we just discussed. The project manager assesses whether the project can meet the end date and other project constraints and objectives. Also, the project manager plans when and how to measure performance against the performance measurement baseline. Okay. Now, during execution, the project manager is also involved in that knowledge area. And while the work is being done, the project manager is responsible for documenting and sharing knowledge acquired during the project. The project manager measures against the project management plan to help determine project status throughout the life of the project. Projects are re-estimated throughout the life of the project to make sure the end date and cost objectives will be met. Therefore, the project manager almost always knows if the project can meet the agreed upon end date and budget. As I said, the project manager has authority and power. They can say no and work to control the project for the benefit of the customer. The project manager let others know they cannot get something for nothing. And that's what we said. A change in scope must be evaluated for its impact to the project schedule, cost, quality, risk, resources, and customer satisfaction. So it's not just an evaluation against schedule, cost, schedule, cost, and quality. It extends to risk, resources, and customer satisfaction, and many more. Sorry. And the project manager has enough data, actually a lot of data about the project to do this analysis. Okay. The project manager realizes that over time, not everyone associated with the project will have the same understanding of what the project is and what could occur during the life of the project. Therefore, the project manager is continually looking to ensure everyone knows what is going on and has appropriate expectations. The project manager is proactive, not reactive, and finds problems early, looks for changes, and prevent problems. His duty is to spend more time focusing on preventing problems rather than dealing with the problems. Most of the problems that occur have a risk response plan already created to deal with them, as we discussed before. Risks are a major topic at every team meeting, and I also mentioned that before. Team meetings do not focus on status that can be collected by other means. All changes to a project management plan flow through the change management process and integrated change control. Right. The project manager ensures that organizational policies are followed on the project. The project manager also recommends improvements to the performing organization's standards, policies, and processes, as we discussed. Such recommendations are expected and welcomed by the management. Quality should be considered whenever there is a change to any component of the project, and we have mentioned that. Quality should be checked before an activity or work package is considered complete. The project manager works closely with the quality department in performing some of the quality activities discussed in the PMBOK guide. The project manager is actively involved with the procurement process and assists in managing procurement. The project manager understands contract language. The project manager makes sure all the terms of a contract are met, including those that do not seem important. Closing the project, what the project manager does, I'm gonna at a very high level. No project is complete unless there has been a final acceptance from the customer, as we said. So Not only that, I would say the project is complete when the benefits are realized, when there is business value added to the organization, when the end users are using that project or that solution or that system which was delivered as part of the project and are maximizing their utilization of that project and realizing benefits. This is when the project is successful, right? All projects produce a final report that gives the project team a chance to announce the project objectives have been met, right? All of these are topics which we discussed at a very high level today in our discussion, and that is a warm-up session. As I said, I wanted it to be more than that. I wanted more interactions. I've taken my time to discuss a lot of information. Maybe I've been streaming for almost 2 hours. What I want from you guys is that if you really are going to study for the PMP, go and watch that video. It will be left under the PMI-PMP material playlist, and I left in the description box the link to that. Okay, there I will be posting all the PMP content, so you can follow with me. If there will be no much users joining or no much people joining the live, I will be recording the videos and uploading them. We will see which is better. Okay, but for now, please go invite your friends when you hear that. Let them join, let them interact, let them subscribe to that channel, hit the bell icon, so whenever I come live in future streams, they'll have the chance to join and interact with me and with others. Okay, with that I will conclude, and the next chapter which I will prepare will be a framework. That's the first chapter in PMP. Stay tuned, get yourself ready, encouraged, motivated. Say I want to do it, and you guys will do it. Meet you there. Take care and have a good day, good afternoon, or good evening. Take care. See you. Bye bye.